Hey, Jason Mitchell here with SCHEELS. You know, one thing that has been pounded into walleye anglers' heads for years is just use the lightest jig that you can feel, the lightest jig that you can get away with when you're trying to catch walleyes. And I tell you what, early in the year, especially on river systems, but even on natural lakes and reservoirs, I like to follow a different principle in the sense that I'll use the heaviest jig I can get away with to find fish, and then once I know where the fish are, once I find the fish and really have things narrowed down, then I'll use the lightest jig that I can get away with to catch fish. Now that's two different ways of approaching jig fishing in the sense that, imagine if you're in a river system and say you're using a 1/4 ounce jig and you've got moderate flow and you're anticipating the fish to be in, say, 7 to 10 feet of water. You cast up into 3 feet of water. If there's fish up in 3 feet of water, you need that fish to tell you. And also, if you bring that jig back into, say, 11, 12, 13 feet of water and the water's faster, you also need to be able to figure that out as well. And so with a lighter jig, if you're using the lightest jig you can possibly use, what happens is you don't get lucky, in the sense that a lot of times you're not near the bottom and you're getting blown up off the bottom, especially if the current's strong. And so use the heaviest jig that you can get away with to find fish, just to cover water and break down the pattern each day. Once you get things really dialed in, that's when a lot of times I'll get real specific, where I'll be targeting one depth, one current speed, get a lot more exact and a lot more precise, especially once you start wearing out your welcome and you catch the easy fish. But tell you what, once I started fishing that way, I just felt like I was a lot more efficient at finding fish. And a lot of times on river systems, reservoirs, natural lakes, especially early in the year when the fish are moving a lot, finding fish is the name of the game. Once you find fish, you can catch them doing a lot of different things. So when you're trying to find fish, don't be afraid to go a little bigger, a little heavier, a little faster even, and use the heaviest jig that you can get away with. And I guarantee you're going to be able to cover a lot wider spectrum of water, a lot wider spectrum of current velocity. You're going to get luckier as far as finding fish. And once you find them, you can make your adjustment. But with fishing, most of the time, it's all about finding the fish.